says carrying moderately heavy, 20 to 50 pounds, items on a consistent basis. Now, if students can do that, these garbage men, I think they can do that too, putting some in a garbage can. I mean, they obviously can do this.
Good morning. It's Monday, and it's Talking Racine with Mr. George Myers.
Good morning.
Mr. Jim Spodek.
Morning.
And your host, Dr. Ken Jorgen. And fellas, we're 2/3 of the way to a Triple Crown winner as of yesterday.
I don't know. Yeah.
Pretty amazing stuff, I'll tell you. Now, there's a beast of burden if I ever saw one. A horse. Horse. And the issue of beasts of burden, I think, is coming up in... is it in this first clip, or is it...
No, second one.
Second clip?
Second.
The first clip is about my neighborhood, actually. The corner of Carlisle and Gould, which is really just a block and a couple of doors from my house. Several months ago, the city put a stop sign in there on Gould Avenue, making it a four-way stop. And I wasn't particularly enthralled with the idea, but I thought, well, if somebody feels like that's a necessity, and if it's a safety issue, I suppose, I'll live with it. Now we have a member of the county board come in to lecture the city of Racine City Council about the hazards of not thinking an issue like this through thoroughly. This is a very impassioned, very emotional discussion, and she's really taken these people to task about this stop sign. So why don't we watch this clip?
All right.
Who is this, by the way?
Melissa Caprillion Becker.
Yeah.
A supervisor of the 4th District, which would be your supervisor, I believe.
No.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
She's at the Common Council. Now, prior to this, former Alderman Bob Mosel came up and talked about the amount of accidents that happened at this intersection, and there were very few.
Prior to or since?
Well, at that same meeting.
Was it prior to the stop sign going in, or
prior to?
Yeah, there was a claim of there was like 30, 40 accidents, and Mosel went through police records extensively and said there were like 3 or 4.
4 or 5.
I don't remember a single one at that intersection.
Yeah.
I remember
there were
when
some. It was only when there was a stop sign one way.
What they're saying is it's not
it was a
needed
2-way stop.
Yeah. Who had the right of way? Probably Gould, huh?
Yeah, east-west had the right of way.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, we're already discussing it too much.
Yeah.
He discussed it for
just trying to get the
picture.
Isn't that the whole point?
Yeah.
There is an opportunity for you to rectify the decision that was made in regards to that 4-way stop that was on Carlisle and Gould. I was able to listen to the painful, misdirected discussion that was had for over and
Painful, misdirected discussion. Oh my God! I mean, that's quite something over a stop sign. And
prior to this meeting, I believe it was an hour of discussion about the stop sign. At a prior meeting.
Did they come to a decision? Or are they going to take? I think they're going to take it back out, right?
No, they're not taking it back. It was vetoed later by Corey Mason to taking it out so they could have more discussion on it.
Oh, jeez! You mean that this wasn't enough?
Oh no, this is minor.
Oh my goodness!
But this is
now. Has the audience seen the whole clip?
No, we're going through it here
little
by little.
All right.
But this is just at the public comments portion.
Right.
There was prior to this a big discussion of the council itself. What was it? The prior meeting?
Yeah, I believe it was a prior meeting.
Yeah, there was an hour-long discussion over this.
Hey, nobody asked me about it before they put the stop sign in there, and I use that street all the time.
Yeah, well, that's what she's complaining about. You didn't ask.
I think I'm going to go to the next meeting.
Yeah, but it's probably going to still be talked about. Anyway, here, we'll keep going.
It was about personal vendettas, about decisions that were made by the Traffic Commission in maybe your respectable districts. It was made for personal, emotional reasons by constituents in the area. When you look at the research that got brought and the information that got brought to the Traffic Commission, there was no evidence for a four-way stop to be placed there. You cannot go off of emotional grief.
That caught me too.
Yeah, is there anything else that the council decides upon? Any other basis that it uses?
Other than emotional grief.
Other than emotional.
False hope. I think they do a lot of things on false hope. I think that's probably a bigger motivator than emotional grief.
Yeah.
I would say that, well, yeah, but that to me is in the emotion area instead of sitting down with facts and figures. I think the reason that we get so much attention from the council and on these issues like the stop signs, it's something that they can understand.
Yeah, that could
Good point.
You know,
Good point, yeah.
they can comprehend that. But when you get into things like Machinery Row and Arena, there's so many factors.
Well, they
lose comprehension,
there's
and
the
so now
false hope.
so they just say, "Well, let's hope it's right."
Yeah,
Exactly.
You know, it's like trying to figure out Foxconn. You know,
I hope
what
it's
the hell's
good. I
going
hope it's
on,
good.
you know?
I hope it turns out.
Yeah, yeah.
right.
It's gonna
No
be so
discussion
good if it works.
And so you have limited discussion that zips right through them. You know, $1 million will zip right through,
Yeah.
but a couple $100 on a stop sign. Let's discuss it. You know,
Let's discuss
because
it thoroughly.
It sounds like somebody was ticked off about people driving through there. I don't know if they were going through fast, or I never got the impression that it was a high rate
To
of
me, it's
speed.
like a non-issue. It's a non-issue. You got big problems in Racine, and we're talking hours on a four-way stop. If it stays, if it goes, it's not going to change
And now
anything.
we're talking about them talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's almost like it sucks you in, you know?
Go off of emotional grief, it is going to cause disruption for the future of not only this body, but for the city as a whole. And I want you to think about this. I am asking you, please, when you make decisions, that you are making educated decisions. If you do not have that education, rely on the people who do have that
We
education.
rely on the people who do have an education. That's the very
now, have you
definition.
been to stop sign school?
Well, listen, isn't that the calling out for bobbleheads? You know, look at see how the guy next to you is voting.
Well, that's an education.
That's kind of what she was saying. Rely on the people that know what they're talking
Well,
about.
I should think department heads and that, but then again, we go to our department heads, you really kind of question the fact that, really? Some of them I really question if they're really...
Well, yeah.
Is it there for the betterment of a community, or is it there for their, plug on their resume?
Think case in point is the second clip that we're going to get to after we're done with this one.
It just, again, we go back to it. Rely on the experts.
Stop sign experts.
Examine and study these issues. Wait, whoa. We had the Arena, you've got Machinery Row, you've got RDA spending millions of dollars. Nobody seems to be, we have to rely on those people that are in that committee, or we have to rely on our experts. No, ask some questions. Obviously here, they've got a stop sign, and you've got the supervisor coming in because of this stop sign. It's really...
Way more passion about this stop sign than I ever saw in the Arena or Machinery Row.
Yeah, I tell you what, this brings in the whole thing of the studies, because those are the experts.
Right.
Yeah.
You see? And so when you start relying on experts, you can get into a lot of trouble, because particularly on these studies, because the experts they bring in are known. There was a study on studies, and it showed that the people who provide studies that come up with the answer, yes, do it, get a lot more repeat business than the ones that come up and say, no, this is not going to work out.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah.
You know the definition of an expert, don't you?
I've heard it before. Go ahead, give it to me again.
An X is a has-been, and a spurt is a drip under pressure.
Okay, I have not heard that.
Let's finish this off.
Just as I tell the students that I work with in the school, once you learn something, you cannot take that education away, but you have a responsibility.
That is a very good statement. I'm not sure how it applies to this particular thing, but that's a good thing to tell students.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, once you've got something, it's yours, and you also have a responsibility now to carry forward with that and do the right thing with it. I'm not sure how that applies to the stop sign issue.
Well, here's what I think it applies to. What happened to Machinery Row? You've got a straw man. You spent probably $15 million. You have nothing. You have to put more money into it. You know what happened, but that responsibility, somehow we just don't seem to find that one. We were worried about that stop sign, but that $15 million that just kind of slipped through in criminal as far as I see it, No questions asked about that. No discussion. No hour discussion on.
Well, you
on
let the
millions of
experts
dollars.
decide.
We're
The
going to let those experts decide. They stole all the money.
Jim, I don't know if I would go to the point of, labeling that as criminality. Ignorance, yes.
Well,
Incompetence, yes. Arrogance, yes. But criminality, I know it's a whole different ballgame.
What are you machinery row?
Yeah.
You mean the straw man that they put in place to buy the property?
You might be right.
Yeah. I know I'm right.
A responsibility to hopefully do the right thing. And you do the right thing for the whole of the community. You might feel like a four-way stop is insignificant, but look how long this discussion has lasted in regards to it. And these are the things that people talk about.
There is the vote on Machinery Row, and Caprillion Becker voted for Machinery
She was
Row.
on the student, or not the student council, the city council.
Yes, on the city council. So where is the investigating Machinery Row supervisor? I'd really like to see that. And former Alderman Bob Mosel should also accompany you on that investigation. I don't see why we're not investigating that type of stuff. We're investigating something that costs $200 when you've lost 15, maybe 20 million at the end of this.
Yeah, but there weren't any emotions involved
Right,
in
no.
Machinery Row. I mean, the stop sign is an emotional issue. So. At least there were no emotions to people that counted. I mean, the people that got kicked out of there that received no compensation for having been displaced, they may have had some emotions, but, to heck with them. Anyway, we got another clip, don't we?
Yeah.
This in some ways is even better.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can top that, but
This is bulky waste. No,
Bulky
this is the same
waste.
meeting.
No,
and
this
it's,
is
explain a
stop
little bit.
signs and trash, man.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not the most exciting show here, but the fact
Well,
is
it is.
that trash is a big issue in a lot of communities, and bulky waste is the original plan was to pick up 4 calls to pick up bulky waste a year for each resident.
If you wanted them.
If you wanted it. If
Yeah.
you didn't need it, you didn't. You had a couch, tables, chairs,
Yeah.
whatever that wouldn't fit in your trash container.
And the purpose of this original plan was to avoid injuries. In other
Correct.
words, they felt that the garbage pickup guys were either getting injured directly from the garbage, or the repetitive motion was causing,
Right.
And it does. I mean, that is a true danger.
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean...
tennis elbow and some of those.
tennis elbow.
Well, I mean, not from picking up garbage, but that supposedly is an injury that comes
Yeah,
about
right.
with the repetitive motion.
So
of tennis
what
players.
what it came down to was, all right, you throw out a couch and you have 4 or 5 bags of garbage that was accumulated or whatever, and that would be put on the couch. But now they say, well, we're not going to pick up those bags. We'll pick up the couch, but we're not going to pick up those bags because those can fit in the container.
Yeah,
Even though
I'm
I'm
heck
sure.
is a sense to that? I mean, they're right there. The bag certainly weighs less than the couch. So they're able to lift up the couch, and then they leave the bag sitting there. I mean,
Right.
that's going to confuse citizens.
Well, I'll tell you
and
where
aggravate
the
them.
injury is going to come about. Instead of having that, if you've ever seen that front end loader come down, it picks up the couch, these 2 jaws, and it goes lifting it. The garbage man's going to have to run. The garbage guy has to go run around and take those bags off the couch.
Yeah, right.
There he's moving garbage again. That's where the
Yeah.
injury is going to come about. Because then they pick it up and leave it. I mean, so it's difficult.
How crazy is that? You pick it up and put it on the ground.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
actually probably less stress to put it in the back of the truck.
or just let just
Yeah,
leave it on the garbage
right.
couch and it picks it all up
Yeah,
together.
well, come on.
Even a better point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here it is, Mayor Mason is asking the Commissioner of Public Works, Mark Yellen, is this a change in policy? So we'll start with this.
My understanding, perhaps I'm in error about this, that bulky waste would be for anything that would exceed the capacity of the trash bin. And if you exceeded that capacity, you could call for bulky waste pickup. That was my previous understanding of what bulky waste pickup could include. Now it seems as though we're saying if those items could have fit into that can, those items are no longer eligible for bulky waste pickup. Is that what's being described here in item 0372-18?
Yes, sir.
And is it your feeling that this is a change in policy?
I'd say it would be a change, a refinement. I mean, as we've gone through this process over the last 6-7 months, we have been, we've made a number of adjustments. And this is one of the refinements to this system that we're requesting that the Common Council approve.
Okay.
This would be a change.
This would be a change in policy.
Yes, sir.
And just another point of clarification so I understand. So previous to this policy, if on a given week I might throw 5 garbage bags worth of garbage into the bin, you would come get it. But say I did spring cleaning one weekend, and now I have 15 bags of garbage,
Okay.
and I can only fit 5 in the bin. Previous to this decision, I could have called and had those 10 bags picked up under bulky waste. But under this change, I would now have to take those 10 bags to Pearl Street myself.
Either take it to Pearl Street, basically wait, a week or so to fill up your can, or talk to your neighbors about putting excess bags in their cans.
And I guess my feeling is somewhere along the line we've got to sit down and get a happy medium. And I understand the injury to workers and everything else. I think that in the future we need to say, hey folks, this is the rule. In my area, 50% of the people are over 60 years old. You think that they can take a couch down to Pearl Street or wherever? It ain't going to happen. So think about it. Thanks.
Mark, could you please tell me the physical demands of a garbage man? I mean, is there any demands that are required for a garbage man?
Well, I mean, as far as they have to have a CDL, a commercial driver's license, and they have to pass a city physical.
Yeah. Is there any physical demands as picking up, lifting, or?
Well, by moving to the semi-automated system, we've eliminated probably about 80% of the hazards our workers are exposed to.
So you're trying to eliminate it altogether?
We're trying to eliminate to the maximum extent possible. Yes, sir.
I wanted to stop it just for a moment to let everybody know we're still here. So, okay, go ahead and finish it up.
I know it's all. I'm starting to lose my.
Yeah.
I'm only asking this only because I have a application for a student laborer for your department, and it says the physical demands. There's quite a bit of it, but I'm gonna read a little bit of it. It says carrying moderately heavy, 20 to 50 pounds items on a consistent basis. Now, if students can do that, these garbage men, I think they can do that too, putting some in a garbage can. I mean, they obviously can do this. So, that's where I stand.
We have eliminated all that redundant, repetitive work that caused those kind of injuries that we wanted to avoid for our employees. I never expected that our employees in public works would never have to pick up an item again.
I don't know that there's room on the city council for that kind of rational thinking. Yeah, Sandy Widener is exactly right. Were we going to eliminate all the lifting completely? I mean, a bag of 20 or 25 pounds worth of garbage occasionally during the day, is that too much to ask? I don't think so. And I don't think the garbage men care. Can you imagine?
Part of their job, this is part of their job. I mean, it's obviously when Steve brought up the fact that was part of the application, 20 to 50 pounds, and you're going to be picking up on a regular basis. I mean, you're a garbage man. I mean, nothing wrong with that as far as, having to work them like a dog. If you can give less and make it a little easier, I'm all for that.
Absolutely.
And less injury. But the fact is, that's part of your job description, and he spelled it out, and I think he did a good job with that. The fact is, here's what you do, 20 to 50 pounds. And I don't think anybody that goes into that job thinks they're going to, not lift heavy items.
Sometimes, yeah. In fact, I won't say where it happened. And I'll do my best to make it impossible to identify the offender. But I came out to the street just a couple of weeks ago with a bag of garbage. And the guy said, just throw it in the back. Now, the thing was down, so he actually had to raise that up, and he took that bag of garbage from me and threw it into the back in the bin.
Yeah. You know, really, the city
I
garbage guys.
hope you please don't investigate the guy, because he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
They are.
I'm sure the rest of the time he's an obedient servant.
I think the garbage guys do a great job, and I don't think they're. Here's the thing. If the services continue to be cut, the next step is going to be residents are going to say, and the cost is going to continue. They're going to look for privatizing the garbage pickup.
Well, that's been one of my arguments for a long time. When you keep automating it, when we had the old system, this was before this bulky waste pickup, where it was all thrown together. You know, you had your garbage, and then you just throw stuff bags.
You mean like before recycling
furniture.
and everything, way back when?
No, not that far back. Okay. Just 6 months back. Before we went to the bulky waste, where you come out with. It used to be real simple. I'd watch guys go down those streets, and they'd have a place emptied, big huge amounts of garbage. They'd do it in like 60 seconds. I mean, they were fast.
Yeah.
Now they have to come out, two guys with two vehicles. One vehicle has to park over here, and the front end loader comes over here. And then they got to come over and lift it. One guy's helping getting into the front end loader, and then they take that front end loader and it trundles over to the open. It's no longer a packer now. It's an open-ended truck,
right?
Because they just load it on top, and so it means more trips to the dump because once that thing and it take something that used to take them a minute or two now takes 5, 10, or 15 minutes.
Fuel. Yeah, I mean, let's go into the whole thing.
So it's a lot. The only thing they're gaining is that. They only come out 4 times a year, but even then, back when they came out all the time, maybe 6 times a year, there was bulky waste out there. Most of it was just garbage, and the point was, though, this was a very personalized, very custom. We would pick up whatever you put out there, and that's very hard to bid on that.
Yeah,
somebody's going to come in and bid for the garbage pickup for the city, and they're going to estimate, well, how much do we charge because they pick up everything. How much are we going to charge? How are we going to estimate it? Makes it hard to do. Now we're getting it down so automated. It's so many steps. Hey, we're getting in line with all the other communities that already have privatized garbage pickup, and that can be bid. And once you start, when you can do that, and
that's maybe what the idea here is to privatize it. Maybe it is. I don't know. What's the long-term goal here? I don't know. But here's the thing. Do you think in a private disposal company is going to come in and bring in a front end loader and bring in a dump truck and to pick up a couch?
They're not going to do that.
No, they're going to throw it in and they're going to crush it, and it's away it goes. They may have to make more trips to the dump.
They'll hire the same guys that got laid off by the city and pay them less.
Well, they come over and they pick it up. You have to call and let them know that you have something there to pick up. But then they come over with their packer and their guys, and they just.
I'm going to tell you. I know for a fact. I mean, I live in Caledonia, and we've got Johns. They come out, they pick up everything. I mean, and they've got the automated. They got the arm that comes all scoop, picks it up. But there's stuff out there. They'll grab it, throw it in. I mean, they're not for a long time. It didn't matter what we put out; they would take it. Now there may be they've cleaned that up a little bit, but they're still. You have to remember, they're service orientated. They're going to be out there making sure that. I mean. Here, for instance, I'm just in a little story though. My neighbor's mailbox. Yeah, my neighbor's mailbox got hit by the garbage truck. And everybody out there, they rebuilt it. They did everything. I mean, the fact is, but the service, because they know they've got a contract here, and they're going to make sure that those customers are happy. And
that's an advantage to privatization because then the customer becomes more important. Exactly. When it's just a city job, they're really not that much concern about it. I mean, when Mark Yalen, that's the commissioner, that was the one that stumbled over his answering that question.
Yeah.
When he was being interviewed, he made a statement that Alderman Wisniewski quoted on the Common Council on why Wisniewski was going to vote for Mark Yalen, because Mark Yalen had said, "I know who my customers are, and they're the ones I care about." And he was talking about the people in the city. Mm-hmm. He wasn't talking about his real customers now, or the aldermen.
Right.
He was talking about that, and you can tell from what he actually did. The last thing he's worried about is his customers. He's mostly worried about his workers. He doesn't want them getting any strain, any type of
Well, you also,
physical
George, they're
difficulty.
taking less. They're taking less material. Now you're going to have
That's
the
right.
city. How are we going to control? I mean, yard waste. That's a big deal. Now you got to run it down to the Pearl Street dumps.
The point is, he's not worried about that because that's a customer burden.
Right.
He doesn't care if he
Right.
offloads more on the customer.
Or
and
if
we're not
somebody-
getting a reduction in taxes.
No. Or if somebody says, okay, I got this stuff, I'm just going to throw it at my neighbors or throw it in some empty lot. Well, he actually in this common council, he said, well, that's really out of our view because that becomes an issue with the violations. And that's
Oh
not-
yeah, if somebody throws
But your
trash
garbage is
behind
still-
your garage
Yeah,
in your
exactly.
alley, then you're
Right.
responsible.
And
and the
this
city
is a
can
big
fine you.
issue because we heard this a lot.
Well,
out there.
I manage properties that have the dumpster. I have 3 dumpsters.
Yeah.
The one where a tenant watches and they're kind of yelling out the window if somebody comes in,
Yep.
it lets them know. But one of them, nobody seems to pay any attention. And I tell you what, since this new system has come up, that garbage pickup is on Friday, and by Monday that dumpster is overflowing.
Yeah. Exact
I mean,
same thing.
People,
Same thing.
and I went out there and just checked. This Monday. Yesterday would have been Saturday. After Friday pickup, sure enough, there's a chair inside of it.
Yeah.
You
mean like a recliner type chair?
Not right now. Kind of. Thankfully, I mean, I've gotten those where
Yeah.
one chair goes in there and it takes up almost a whole dumpster.
Yeah.
People don't know how to get rid of it now. All they know is they put it out at the curb and it doesn't get picked up.
Right.
They're not listening
yeah,
to the council meeting.
no.
They're not reading the newspapers. All they know is that the mattresses doesn't get taken anymore. So it ends up over at my dumpster.
Yeah.
Mattresses.
Well,
But,
anybody
I
with
mean,
a
and
dumpster
it's-
is
a lot of it's
susceptible, yeah.
happening in alleys. You can see it through
It
alleys.
is. I checked down. There's a couple doors down. There's another guy with a dumpster, and I just checked his out. Sure enough, full of chairs, all kinds of stuff. So we're breeding a real problem here. And
Yep.
and when you start making these changes, and people are used to one way, and you're going to do it another way, and you're not really getting the information out there very well. The first time he changed it, the alderman didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
So they had to vote to have him pick up bags for a while until the alderman reconsidered whether they were going to approve it, and then this was the
Well,
meeting
it
where
passed, by the
they
way.
did finally
You
approve
know.
it, right?
So they
But at least
passed
the
it.
alderman knew about it now.
And what they should be doing is providing the same service in a different way, in
If
a
they wanna
more,
do
in a
that,
more
that's fine.
efficient way.
Right,
If you
right.
want to do that, fine.
Well, when Yalen came to the landlord association meeting, he said you can fill up your front yard with stuff. We'll come in and pick it up, but you only get it 4 times a year.
Right.
That's almost verbatim what he's saying. Now that wasn't just stuff; that was bags, everything.
Right.
And that's what. When the landlords approved it, for their tenants and stuff, that was the thing that was approved. Now all of a sudden, no bags anymore.
No,
You
yeah,
know?
the we're going to change stumbling
Yeah,
over
yeah.
words. The policy is changing.
Yeah, policy's
policy's changing now.
No bags, no boxes,
Right.
anything that fits in that
Yeah.
dumpster.
The garbage is still coming. That's not going away,
Yeah.
and you're going to have to figure out a way to do it. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to see as this continues, you're going to see that the talk of privatizing the garbage pickup. Kenosha's got it. I know a lot of the little municipalities have it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, and
And it works down there.
Yeah.
We manage one piece of property down in Kenosha, and you just have to notify ahead of time. And I don't know how many pickups they get, but you notify them ahead of time that I'm going to have some stuff out there.
no, is there any?
No. Oh, yeah.
Do they use bins then, or are they?
Now they have a I think it's 9 by 3 by 3 measurement. So that's a couch and a chair, and as much as you want to fit on it.
Okay.
No.
9 by 3 by 3.
9 foot long, 3 foot high, 3 foot wide. A package like that of.
So
of
once you
stuff
put your
that
junk
curb.
out, that's as big as that they'll
that's
pick up.
that's
No, they
big
pick
as-
up. We said they picked up white goods.
I don't. Yeah, but now this I've never actually. Well, no, many years ago I did experience. We had to get rid of a refrigerator, and all we had to do was call down to the city, say, "Hey, I got a refrigerator pickup at such and such address," and they'll come out and pick up the refrigerator.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they do white goods, so which Racine is just.
yeah.
Completely stop doing that.
So privatization is just a matter of contracting with what you want to have done,
Right.
and the thing is, as long as it's predictable, the contractors will come out there and make bids.
Right.
And then what I said a little earlier in the program, though, it's when we had this custom, whatever you throw out there, throw out whenever and how much ever you want. That is real hard to bid
Yeah.
because.
Well, I'll tell you what, anything that's recyclable, if you put it out to the curb, it's only going to last about 20 minutes. If you put it out the day before your pickup day, I mean, I've put stuff out
Oh yeah,
there.
yeah, metal
grill
stuff, metal
and
stuff goes
stove
like
and-
that.
Yeah, it's
I
gone.
don't think boxes and plastic goods goes that fast,
No.
but
No, but
no,
I think the fact is that
Some plastics might,
they changed the
but that's all
policy,
recyclable.
and I think we're led into it to believe one way, and now it's changing to another.
Yeah,
And
in
this
a
new-
very short period of time, too.
Right, right.
People haven't even had a chance to adapt to the new way, and now they're changing it already.
yeah, change it with me.
Yeah, it's
Just got
bad
used to it. There
policy.
was,
That's just bad
yeah.
policy.
I still see people, setting. I'll go down the street and there's a mattress at the curb, and
Listen,
yeah.
we're,
you start rolling
what,
through
6
some of
months
these
into the
alleys.
program, and they still don't understand
Somebody would have
it.
been camping out,
And they get
We got
confused,
a homeless
and they-
issue, too,
So they get one of these bright pink tags on it,
Yeah.
and they're all confused. What happened? Why won't they come and pick up my mattresses anymore? So it's a matter of communication, and I think once we get it settled, what we're going to do, I think you're going to find out. It's much more. We're going to find out comparing these other communities. Why did they go to privatization?
Yeah.
Well, once
Because
it's
it saves
settled, I
money
mean,
and it's
everybody
better.
thought it was settled. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope that gives you some more information about the bulky waste pickup, because I know a lot of people have just been tearing their hair out over this issue.
Yeah, it's
So-
a hot topic.
And if the stop signs disappear over in Gould and Carlisle,
We'll look for them. at your
happy
house.
motoring. So,
Well, I don't want to talk about that anymore.
okay. Well, that's it for today, unless you guys got something really
That's good.
interesting to
That's
add, huh? Okay. Thanks for
Have a
being
good one.
here. We'll see you next week.